2018 is coming in very quickly. It is just a few days away, and we just wanted to kind of like give some thoughts for you to jumpstart 2018 and make 2018 a year of success for you, a year of hope, and a year of actually seeing transformations happen in your life. Because nobody wants to live another year of their life regretting the year that they had and feeling like what they really wanted was not accomplished.
Yes. Great. Okay.
So today we're going to be talking with Shirona about this because he has one simple strategy to make sure that 2018 is a success. And he wrote about this in his book called Nanotransformation. And we're going to uncover exactly what that means in this next 30-minute period. So hang tight and we'll get started with our TeaNTalks to jumpstart 2018.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to point that to you. My hat has a funny word, if you can read it, and if you can pronounce it, it's a Hawaiian word, and it's the Hawaiian state fish. I'm going to give you 2017 pennies. Whatever that amount is.
2017 pennies. 2017 pennies.
2017 pennies. Real US cash. I'm going to give it to you if you can pronounce it. That's my challenge, to let go of the 2017.
You got to get really close so they can see. Oh, the lighting is kind of funky, but.
Yeah. So, anyway, so what's happening now is
tea.
Tea. This is tea and talk.
Right.
Now this tea is basil tea. What it does, I have no idea, but it's good.
I don't know either, but I just know we took it out of our spaghetti and now we're using it here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. The basil, actually we got this basil for this Iraqi lady because if you guys don't know, Iraqi food has a lot of basil, right?
Yeah.
And Jessica could not wait for her to buy the house and invite us. She just made tea out of it. That's the story. I'm sticking by it.
Yeah, I have to say, I am super excited about 2018 coming into play, but I am very grumpy today. I'm like extremely grumpy. I don't know if you've noticed that, but like from morning to now, just been like, rah, rah.
Yeah. You know, I respect this guy a lot. His name is, if you guys have not seen him, look him up. His name is Shetty. I think I said it right. He has written for Huffington Post and many other publications. One of my favorite people. I love this guy when he talks. I don't agree with everything that he says. Not with anybody I agree with everything that they say, but he gives a lot of good wisdom.
Okay.
One of the things that he says is like, you know, whether you're doing meditation or doing something, when you're transitioning, it's like a mirror that you never looked at for a very long time, right? And that mirror is there, is dusting and that kind of stuff. So in order for you to see the face, you had to clean it. And when you clean it, that dust comes on your face, right? And it's not a pleasurable experience, right?
I like dust on my face.
Okay, but it doesn't look like today. So then the next thing is like when you see yourself in the mirror, typically you're like, what is this, right? Because when the mirror was not clean, you could not see your flaws, you could not see a lot of things. So that transition.
So then you get freaked out because now you can see clearly.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you're like, what is that pimple there? I didn't see that before.
I didn't see that because the mirror is clear, right? So before you fix these things, it's a lot of clarity. So keep that in mind. So when you're transitioning from one stage to the other, it's not always going to be pleasurable. It's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be like the most desired situation. You're going to be grumpy, you're going to be upset, you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be yelling at people, but that's okay because
you're going to have more hope.
You're going to have,
and there's going to be other things that are there that are carrying you through and making you happier.
Because sometimes My parents used to say this. Sometimes to get that poop is hard, but once you get it out, there's so much relief.
I'm so glad we're talking about this on TeaNTalks because
Mhm.
I was like, some guest has to talk about poop eventually. This is just absolutely necessary topic.
Mhm. It's very necessary because that we're going to get to that for 2017, why this
Good,
is
poop talk.
so important. Okay, so what are we talking about?
Well, I just wanted to insert that
Mhm.
I think a lot of times we think change is like when you hear the word change, you're kind of like, ugh, like
Mhm.
nobody feels like gravitated towards it really. And I think part of that reason is because like our American culture is like, get down there and make it happen, get some grit, man, and get in there and like make 3 months changes in a month. That's how we do things in America.
Mhm.
But I feel like I don't know if anyone is like me, but that scares me. And I just automatically recoil and rebel. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And I'm
Mhm.
not, in fact, I'm not doing anything.
Mhm.
So, what I love about your book and what you wrote in Nanotransformation
Mhm.
is that there is a way that you can move forward effectively and with long term changes without doing this like crazy American like grit,
Mhm.
like trying to accomplish 5 goals in 1 month, you know?
Mhm.
So we're going to make this simple. We're going to make this doable.
Mhm.
And so, Sharona, I want you to start us in with what is the concept of nanotransformation?
The concept of nanotransformation is needle movers. So think of it as not goals, because the problem with the goals is once you achieve the goals, it's you don't know what to do. And the other thing is like when you set these goals and when you can't, like somebody tries to lose like 50 pounds
Mm-hmm.
and try to make $1 million. The task looks so big and the day looks so big. Like you get frustrated because you might try to lose 50 pounds and you might lose 20 pounds and everybody's like, whoa, look at you, you're looking good. And then it's hard to lose the next 30. So you're frustrated. So the technique in nanotransformation is needle movers, Jessica. So when you say needle movers, you do a change that you can identify. It's not a small change because it's a big thing. Like, for example, if somebody has never woken up before 9 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
if that person is able to wake up before 9 a.m., that's a big deal, right? So my thinking is like celebrate that thing. Don't just say like, oh yeah, that was the big deal. I woke up at 9 a.m. It's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal because you woke up at 9 a.m.,
Yeah.
right? And if you can stay away from that dessert that one time, that's a big deal because your mind, your conditioning has changed. But our society says, like, no, if you can't completely avoid desserts, you are in trouble. If you cannot make it to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, it's in trouble. No, that one time that you make a change, it starts a whole movement. Now, if you look at like a quilt or something that you are like, working on,
Slowly working.
slowly
Yeah.
working on, you're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna say like, okay, I am gonna have my masterpiece, but you're gonna move the needle a little bit. You're gonna move a little bit, you're gonna move the needle. And every day you are doing it. And 6 months later,
You
you are
have a
like,
beautiful quilt.
yeah, you're like, whoa, how did this come?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're moving the needle, you keep on moving the needle. Because I don't like these silly words like um, baby steps, little step. That undermines your conditioning because your mind conditioning says like, oh crap, it's a little movement. It's not a big deal.
I get
Right?
it. So in its essence, it is a small step.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually really look at what transformation is happening, it's
Mm-hmm.
big transformation in the end.
Yeah. For a lot of people, forget about like going and lifting a lot of weights. Forget about like making a lot of money, right? For a lot of people, like going to the gym for the very first time, that's a huge step,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you're struggling with money and if you're financially strapped, right? And if you are always late on your mortgage payment, but if you make that one-time mortgage payment in time, that's a huge achievement towards your financial freedom because now you're learning. Now, if you had 10 credit cards and you're able to pay off one credit card,
Yeah.
that's a huge deal,
Yeah, that
right?
is a huge
But
deal.
what we try to do is always like, yeah, I have 10 credit cards. I only paid one. That's not even a big deal because I hardly made any dent in my credit, right?
Hmm.
No, you started a whole snowballing effect.
See, that's the thing that I think is really hard
Hmm.
because you look at everything that you have to do and everything that's not done, everything that's not right,
Hmm.
and it seems like a mountain.
Hmm.
And the word for it is overwhelm.
Hmm.
And so when you make a tiny dent in the overwhelm,
Hmm.
it doesn't seem like much, but what I'm hearing you say is the importance of celebrating each of those small dents in that mountain.
Hmm.
That's something I struggle with a
Hmm.
lot,
Hmm.
and I don't. Maybe other people do too, but it's sometimes really hard
Hmm.
to take a step back and be like, "Hey, I
Hmm.
did that."
Yes, because that's like like even Steve Jobs, who pretty much like revolutionized the world, right? What Steve Jobs said is like, I want to make a little dent in the universe, little dent, right? So yes, Apple made such a revolution.
Yeah, they made a bigger dent than just a little
Because
one.
yeah, but there's a little dent because he
Mhm.
made a little. Now everybody's talking about simplicity, plain design, not much noise.
Yeah,
So the
in graphic
whole,
design,
yeah, the
that's like the
whole,
thing. Like, do me a graphic design like Apple.
mhm. So the graphic design, websites, electronic devices, the phones, the way that people dress, everything has changed
Hmm.
with this one little dent that Steve Jobs was trying to do,
But
right?
most people would look at that and be like, that wasn't a little dent. He made
Mhm.
such a big freaking dent, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And I can never make that big of a dent.
You can. That's the reality of things because if you don't take like my man Marcus Garvey says, right? He says, with confidence you have won even before you have started the race of life.
Is confidence in like,
Mhm.
is it powerful enough to really overcome the practical day to day? Because the reality is, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, the reality is that most people, they get up, they go to work early in the morning, they come back at 5 or 6, they have like a couple hours to help their kids with homework, put food in their mouths, and spend like 30 minutes with them, maybe bathe them, and then put them to bed. And
Mhm.
by that time, you're just flat worn out.
Mhm.
So, like going to the gym or accomplishing anything really around the house
Mhm.
pretty much gets pushed to the weekend. I mean,
Mhm.
like when you have that, when you feel like you have that little time, I
Mhm.
mean, how much impact does confidence really have when you're talking about practical day to day stuff?
Well, sometimes it might not be, but make that little change, right? Everybody can do something. If you are super busy and you don't have time with your children, make that very small thing. Try to spend try to like if you have a son or daughter, tuck them into bed. That might be that might be the least thing that you can do, right? Or spend 5 minutes and read them a story. That might be the only thing you might be able to do because you don't have any energy, you don't
Mm-hmm.
have nothing left, right? Doing that change, it changes a whole bunch of things, and
Mm-hmm.
then you keep repeating it because the key part of needle moving is needle moving. You don't do it like once or twice. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of effortless move.
So the key is consistency.
Yes, consistency and sticking with it because like if you're putting your children to bed, right? And every night, if that kid knows mom or dad is gonna kiss me and mom and dad is gonna tuck me to bed, that's a huge difference in that kid's life because sometimes we undermine these little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that kid is going to grow up saying like, hey, every night my dad put me to bed and every night my mom read me a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it may be 5 minutes, right? But the time that you spend is so valuable, and then the more that you do it, they think it's part of life. It's
Mhm.
an everyday part of life, right?
Yeah.
So what I believe is this can be applied for anything. Like if you are a cereal eater, right? Don't try to like say like I'm never going to eat cereal again. I will guarantee you, you will eat cereal very soon with that attitude, right? Because you're trying to resist something that you will get back. So what I would suggest to you is just think like today I'm not going to do it, right? Then make it a habit every Tuesday, right? And then celebrate. Tell people, guess what? If you want to tell people that, but be careful because people will put you down. They will say like, oh, really? Tuesday is the only day that you don't eat cereal? Oh, you should be able to do it every day, right? Get rid of those people. Get rid of those people. They're not your support, right? Find people who celebrate that one day. All right, Tuesday. Whoa, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're doing great,
A
right?
lot of times people don't even need to say something to you. You
Mhm.
just look at them and you're like, really?
Mhm.
You know, like they can
Mhm.
they can do so much more than you. Sometimes I do this when I go to the gym and I'm like, wow, this person, because remember we were talking with Fidelis at the gym,
Mhm.
and he was saying, um, sugar's the killer, man. You got to get rid of the sugar. And I'm like, so that's my thing that's difficult because I love sweets.
Mhm.
And here's somebody who's like off the sugar. It seems like a little bit of a big leap for me, you know?
Mhm.
But I don't know. One thing that's helped me is just I've been staying back from the public so much this year, and that helps me not to compare and to celebrate
Mhm.
what I have.
Mhm.
So I don't know if that's doable for a lot of people, but that's one thing that's been helping me.
Yeah, my thing is like I can't emphasize enough to get rid of negative people in your life and
And
the people who are trying to pull you down.
yeah,
Because the truth is, so many people are miserable, lazy. I mean, some people who are listening to this might get offended, but that's the truth. They're lazy, they don't want you to succeed, and they are miserable in their lives. They have no ambition, right? They want everybody to be failing, right? And those people who are in those stages, quite ironically, they set up these very, very high expectations that you can never reach
and that
because
they can't reach
they can reach, yeah.
oftentimes.
And nobody,
Mhm.
nobody can like reach these expectations, right?
Mhm.
So it's good to be in that misery. So they're like, I'm not even gonna try because there's no point trying. It's so hard,
Right.
right?
And that's the thing is like we want to make this doable.
Yeah, because everything in life you can do something and then that something can be repeated, right? But these people who drag you down, this miserable, this like they try to act like they're your friend and that kind of stuff. These people are not your friend. I'm telling you right now, get rid of them. And uh, I mean, can I say get rid of them? Like, be compassionate and kind and nice to them, their people, and tell them like, please do not stand in my way. I'm
Just
gonna make
distance
just
yourself from their
distance yourself
company.
and say
Yeah.
like, look, I'm trying to achieve something.
Mhm.
If you're with me, you'll be
Mhm.
supporting me. If you're not with me,
Right.
please stay out. I have all the love for you. I have all the compassion for you, but can you please leave me alone because I like to hear positive enforcement and your contribution towards my goal, not your um, whining critique.
Yeah, but if you have trouble with comparison, if you can, keep yourself out of public for a little while and treat yourself like a greenhouse and let
Mhm.
yourself grow, I think that can be helpful. So we talked about the small celebrated
Mhm.
steps,
Mhm.
but also a part of nanotransformation is the guilt-free part. Can you talk about that? Guilt-free, small celebrated steps?
Well, the guilt-free part is like, okay, you're trying to stay off that no cereal policy
Yeah,
on Tuesdays.
yeah.
One day you eat the cereal, what's the big deal? That's not the end of the life, right?
Okay. It's not a big
That's
deal.
it's not a big deal.
You ate
World has
cereal.
not come to an end. You're planning. So it's kind of like doing the quilt, right? Let's say every day you spend 30 minutes towards the quilt. All right, one day you have a stomach ache, or your child is sick, or you had to go to work, you could not do it. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world.
Okay.
Don't game and like don't associate with shame and guilt. My grandma told me when you that's how you die. With shame and guilt, that's how you die. So let it go, right? Because not just you get rid of the negative people that you know that's not gonna disturb you. Get rid of this personality that you have within yourself that's gonna talk you down.
Yeah.
That's the one that causes that's your
Yep.
biggest critique. They're like, yeah, you have been working out for 60 days now. You have only lost 2 pounds, right? Oh yeah, you have been trying to make that money for this long. You only got a 2% raise,
Yeah.
right? That negative person is so dangerous, right? Slap that person silly
Well, like you're right. I
and
think
say like, devil, get out of my body.
we do think that, and I
Mhm.
think comparison is a big one that
Yeah.
feeds that because we look at other people and we think they're far ahead of where I want to be, or
Mhm.
they may not struggle in an area that you struggle in, but they may struggle with something different that you don't see.
Mhm.
But the guilt thing, do you see that as something that sort of weighs us down and stops us
Mhm.
from accomplishing?
Yes, yes, because that's we are champions at that, because my good friend Jill Harmon, bless her heart, she told me this one
You
time.
pulled a southern
Yeah, bless her
phrase.
heart, and may she live longer. So she gave me this one advice. I mean, this really really awesome. What she told me is like this pastor told her, one of her favorite pastors, like most of the time we compare our day-to-day life with someone's highlights,
Yeah.
right? That person that you're talking to, that person that you are meeting and like having a conversation with, that might be the best day that they ever had in their life. That may be their best year, right? But their previous 34 years must have been so bad, right? And they might have been going through depression for the last 60 days. The last 60 days, your life might have been super duper good. If that person talks to you, they'll be like, how did you do it, right? But we compare that highlight.
Yeah.
That person, wow, how did you do that? Oh, I had like 19 years of depression, but one day I'm happy, right? And then you compare that, you lose every single time. You lose because it's not humanly possible, because we are trying to do things that are not humanly possible,
Yeah.
right? Because like everybody is not going to have the best day every day. There's going to be some days that are rainy days, some days that are going to be there's no sunshine, right? There are some days that are going to not like everything that you plan is going to be messed up.
And sometimes I think you just have to say that's a like you I have literally have to say to yourself, yeah, I feel down, but that's okay. I'll this will change in a
Yeah,
day or
that's
two.
part of your
I'll
life.
just move through it.
Yeah, move through your life, because
Yeah.
every day is not going to be great. Some days you might even question, why am I even living on this earth, right? But that's reality, and that doesn't mean.
I think a lot of people feel that
Mhm,
way. I felt that way.
mhm.
I think a lot of people think that.
Yeah, because like it's part of life. I mean, like a lot of people have believed that there's some rosy, beautiful life every day, because that's the stuff that they see on TV.
Like you can get to a place where
Yeah.
it's smooth, and
Mhm,
I think we're always like trying to
mhm,
figure out when we can get to the place in our life where
mhm,
things are running smoothly and
mhm,
efficiently, and we have time to breathe.
mhm.
And for some people that doesn't happen until the kids leave.
Yeah, it's just take my.
That's but that's so many years gone. What can we do to sort of like reclaim our time little by little? What are some tiny goals we can make, or perhaps some that you have made? Not goals, because you don't like the word goals, but just small changes that result in a big transformation. What are some of those for you that you've
Well,
done, and how'd you do it?
to me, what I look at is like, where is my happiness, right? And how do I get to my happiness and peace,
Okay.
right? So, for example, if I don't have any money, and I'm barely paying my bills, I try to do one thing celebratory. I mean, like to celebrate, right?
Okay.
Not buying something like, I try to achieve like one thing, like, oh, wow, I was able to do just this.
So you try to actually achieve something, not necessarily go out and buy something that makes you feel
No,
good.
no,
Because you
no.
don't have a lot of money
Yeah.
at that point.
So,
So you'll achieve something that makes you feel good inside.
yeah.
Okay.
For example, like if I go to the gym,
hmm
I would try to push like 20% harder,
Okay.
right? And then I would talk to myself and say like, hey, I'm 51 years old, it's not that bad, right? And I am not asking you to hurt yourself. If you can't do it, don't do it, right? So what I would try to do is like, okay, I'm doing bench press, and this is the weight that I'm doing. If I'm doing at 140, can I push 150, right? 165. So to me, that's an achievement.
What does that do for you when you have that little achievement while everything else seems to be falling and you seem to be having a difficult circumstance, but you have that achievement. What does that
That
do for you?
changes my mental conditioning.
Okay.
Because what people say is like everything is failing. My relationships are failing, my money is failing.
Okay.
Because when one falls, all the tile seems to be going down.
Okay.
Right? And I know some of you guys, you know the pain. You'll ask yourself like, why me? Right? Because your car breaks down at the same time, you're late for rent, and then the coworker is mad at you, and your spouse as doing something crazy. Now your son is sick, or your daughter is sick. At the same time, your neighbor is complaining that your dog pooped in his yard. So all those things happen in back to back to back to back to back, right?
Yeah.
So when those things are happening back to back to back to back to back, what you do is you change one thing.
You
Again,
achieve one thing
one
that
thing.
makes you feel
hmm
good.
hmm And one of the reasons, like, see, this morning I got up, I was not feeling very productive.
Okay.
So I followed my dad's advice. I cleaned my work desk to the best I can.
And did you feel more productive after
Oh,
that?
yes. I was not only feeling productive, I was feeling very happy. It didn't cost me any money, and it took me less than 10 minutes, right? I cleaned because my dad used to say, your surroundings shows where you are at. Right? And if you can change something, and my dad used to say, like, if you are feeling frustrated, go take a shower, shave, trim your beard, or do something.
Do something.
Do something.
Yeah.
These things doesn't have to be like so good, but what happens is like all the tiles are falling, and you change one little thing.
So for instance, if somebody's, mom just dies and they're grieving, get up and make the bed
Yeah,
every day.
yeah.
Something like that, something small.
Yeah, something small, or you can like no matter how hard it is, your mom's dead, your dad's dead, cook something and invite your neighbor, right? And tell a friend like, hey, I made some like nice beef curry or chicken curry or whatever, like, or fried chicken. Can I share that? But immediately you will see, because when you make that, that person is going to give you a compliment, right?
So it's building you up.
Building you up, because you are going through all this sorrow, pain, misery. You can never replace your mom, your dad, or some of your children might have died, or somebody close to you might have died. You can never replace that. You had to come to that conclusion. So let's say you are good at making peanut brittle, right? Something that you're good at. You are really good at making the chicken curry, or for the vegan people, I don't know, cashew curry or something like that, right? And then make that thing and invite somebody and share it, because that's the best thing that you can do, right? And when that person eats that cashew curry, right, or your peanut brittle, right, they might say like, wow, this is so awesome, right? Now you are going through so much misery. There's one good thing that's happening in your life.
Yeah, at least I can make peanut brittle.
At least I can make peanut brittle. And don't undermine that, right?
Yeah.
And then try
That's
to
great
find,
advice.
yeah, then try to find something else that
Yeah.
you can do
And
good.
ride that current until
Yeah.
until everything starts falling in place again in your life, and things are running smoother.
Because you don't know how much effort that how much less efforts that you had to do sometimes
Yeah.
to get a result. Because what you are thinking is like, oh no, now I had to feed the whole neighborhood. Because all those things are illusions.
Yeah. I was just thinking this week about our friend Jim Bugert.
Hmm.
Um, he it kind of just like really touched me.
Hmm.
I've known this for a couple of years, but I thought about it again. That Jim Bugert, when he retired, he took a second job slicing meat to put one African man through college that he met doing some kind of I don't know, missions trip. It wasn't really a missions trip, but he was out there trying to do some work in Africa
Hmm.
or I'm sorry, Haiti.
Hmm.
And he said, I am not going to fall in love with anybody there. Everybody does that. I'm
Hmm.
not going to do that. But he went there and this guy just sort of like,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
grabbed his attention.
Yeah.
And he,
And for those who you do not know, Jim Bugert is an awesome man, but he is an engineer.
right,
So from engineer to
from
cutting
engineer to cutting meat
meat to
was
put somebody
really
else
a
through college.
sacrifice. And it wasn't like, oh, he's going to support a whole village, because that
Hmm.
would feel great, wouldn't it? If
Hmm.
you're slicing meat after you're retired to put a whole village, to
Hmm.
feed a whole village, that feels great. But for just one man,
Hmm.
Jim Bugger did it for just one man,
Hmm.
changed the guy's life. I mean, he was able to go to college, a really nice college. He met a woman, got married. Now they live in Canada. They have a beautiful baby
Hmm.
girl or boy, I'm not sure. But I just thought about how, like, wow, that is so uncommon to see somebody
Hmm.
just plug away for that one. But now they have a great relationship, and
Yeah.
he made a huge difference in someone's life, and who knows how much difference that guy's going to make in other
Yeah.
people's lives.
That goes back to that old saying that says that instead of waiting for your blessing, be someone else's blessing,
Yeah.
right?
Either way, you get to feel the blessing
Either way, you get to feel the blessing because you never
yourself.
know what difference that you make in someone's life. Everybody can do something. It doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be food. That one phone call that you make might be a phone call stopping someone from committing suicide,
Yeah.
right? And that person might want to do something crazy, like, you know, I don't know, like quit the job or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that one call can make a difference. That one situation can make a heap of a difference. So don't underestimate your actions to be small, little steps, baby steps, not so significant. Every action that you have, as long as it's a move, it's a move. It's a needle move. The needle keeps on moving and the
The
world keeps
tapestry is
changing.
being formed.
Yes, it's like, and if you keep doing it over and over again, the world will be a beautiful place.
So, no more years where you're disappointed at the outcome. This year, let 2018, I'm trying to get out of the sun so people can actually see me.
No, switch.
I
You
cannot
can
avoid
switch.
it.
You can switch.
No, it's okay.
So I look white.
It's okay. You want to look white now?
No.
Okay. Um, but yeah, like this year, I just hope that everybody just makes this year a great year. I am really excited about 2018,
Hmm.
and the advice you gave today is doable advice.
Hmm.
Take your intuition, follow your intuition when it's saying, you know what? I think I could get rid of cereal and start having some real food for breakfast every day. I'm
Hmm.
sorry if I offended somebody by saying that, but cereal is not real food.
Hmm.
Real food like vegetables, eggs, meat, whatever.
Yeah.
So in the morning, if you feel like you're ready for that change, take that change. If you feel like you're not ready for that change,
Don't do it. Find something else to do. Find something that you are very comfortable that you can change.
you're ready.
You're ready. And then keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And eventually it becomes a habit. And then you don't even know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So
I
those
love it.
people who are trying to lose 50 pounds, right? If you have over 50 pounds overweight, if you're 100 pounds overweight, right? And if you lose 1 pound a month and you make it a habit, right? In 4 years, you're going to lose that 50 pounds and you would not even know how you lost it because it's so effortless, right? And then the more that you lose, and then when the more that it becomes part of your life, you'll feel good about it.
Yeah.
You'll be like, and if you don't have money, having that extra $20 to maybe eat a meal, right? Or give it away to charity. If you have enough money and you don't want, you might want to help somebody.
Or give it to us.
Give it to us. So whoever, right? That will make a significant change in your life.
Right. When you give blessing, you receive blessing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll have to wrap up for today.
Mm-hmm.
Love the advice
Mm-hmm.
and love the thought of not necessarily having goals, but making lifestyle changes.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking lifestyle. This is for life. I'm
The
making
things that you
small
can do.
dents in my life.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. So make 2018 a great year. And I just wish you guys the best year you've had yet. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying my blessings on your year. If you're watching, like, may you have an awesome 2018, full of prosperity, full of wonderful
Mm-hmm.
changes in your relationship and, yeah, transformations. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be perfect, but the fact that something is happening, celebrate it
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy 2018. Any final thoughts, Shirona?
And anybody who's listening this right now, I want every person to do better than me and better than Jessica, right? That's my challenge eventually, right? So if you guys are doing better than us, we are going to be so blessed because then we don't have to deal with a bunch of whiners. We don't have to deal with a bunch of like people who are complaining, right? Because you will be our blessing. You will be our inspiration, right? So we really want you guys to do, at least me, I want you guys to please do much better than me.
So does that mean when they look on my Facebook page and they see my bloody knuckles from
Hmm.
boxing, that they should step it up?
I guess so. But the thing is, like, it doesn't have to just be exercise. In some area,
Don't do that.
don't do it. Some area,
That was an accident.
yeah, some area do better than us,
Yeah.
right? I don't care what area it is,
Yep,
but there's
that would be
something that you
great.
can do better than us, right?
Yes.
And the better that you do, we can raise our game.
Yep.
And as collectively, as a community, we can raise our game.
We'll kick 2018
Yeah.
in the butt.
Yeah, but this is not a competition. This is for yourself.
It is a competition because you need to compare yourself to us to do better than us.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
is
kind of. But the basic thing is like the better that you guys do, the happier we are.
Yeah.
In fact, if I don't have to work and you guys are contributing towards my life, it's awesome. That's how Shirona
Love
works,
that plug.
right? So if you're listening, do better, do great, do awesome, and I have no jealousy. If you're sitting around and complaining, that's when I have a problem.
There you go. All right. 2018, buddy. Here it
Yay!
comes.
Woo, woo.
We'll see you guys next week
Mhm,
for TeaNTalks. We should be having a special guest next week.
mhm.
Actually, this year is going to be full of some special guests, people who have seen some pretty darn amazing transformations in their life.
Mhm.
And we're just going to uncover what it is that's at the root of that and how they did that and kind of follow the journey, the ups and the downs.
Mhm.
So we have some guests that are on board. They'll be coming soon. So we'll see you next week, Sunday, TeaNTalks at 2 p.m.
Mhm. Blessings.